Think about the last time you were on an extended conference call or a webinar. Now be honest. What else were you doing? Checking email? Talking with colleagues while the call's on mute? Do you even remember the takeaways or action steps at the end of the meeting? If you're like almost 78% of the population, chances are that you don't remember much. According to a study by USA WorldTel, only 22% of conference calls participants surveyed reported that conference calls or web meetings are effective. The primary reason for lack of participation by listeners is body language. Without a strong visual content, audiences tend to check out and find other activities. All of this leads to the question, how can you engage your listeners and avoid boring conference calls and webinars? There are techniques that can increase your success substantially if you're willing to do a little extra work in advance. Now, it goes without saying that any meeting, virtual or live, needs an agenda for structure. Your goal during a virtual meeting is to keep the group engaged, so I like to assign different points of the meeting agenda to participants in advance. That makes sure that everybody knows their role and has time to prepare, and now they're following along the agenda because eventually they're presenting. I find this technique more effective than throwing out random questions to people who then scramble to unmute the phone and ask you to repeat the question. The lack of visual body language is the toughest challenge, and there are two strategies you can take to combat this. The first is to replace eye contact with vocal contact. That means really adding extra energy to your own voice. A quick way to add that extra energy is to conduct the conference call standing up. That's right, standing up instead of sitting. You'd be surprised how much impact something so simple adds. Radio personalities do this well. Think of listening to the last sport event on the air or on the internet versus seeing it on television. Not only do the announcers describe the game process, they are exceptionally expressive with their vocal variety. To enhance your own vocal expressions, try reading 2 to 3 paragraphs out loud every day. Not only does this make you more comfortable with how you sound while speaking, it's great practice for pronunciation and enunciation. So stand up and read out loud to add vocal energy to connect with your listeners. Finally, the most engaging way to keep your audience listening is to use concise stories or case studies. Testimonials are powerful too. Dr. John Medina's research shows that stories and visual images or mental pictures are anchored more quickly to long-term memory than facts and data. So if you can find a way to illustrate your facts with a story, mental picture, or visual image, chances are the group will recall it quicker. For example, one of my clients' jobs is to get people to turn the water off while they're brushing their teeth, if you can imagine. So what he does is go to each homeowners association and he asks the group to imagine, to visualize the swimming pool in their backyard. Then he'll ask them to replicate that pool 100 times. He'll ask them to connect it back to back to back to back. He'll tell them it should wrap around a football field about 2.5 times. Have you got that image in your mind now? Exactly. That's a lot more powerful than just telling people how many millions of cubic gallons of water can be saved when you turn the water off. So now you have some great ideas and you know there's no such thing as a boring virtual meeting, only boring presenters. For more ideas on how to connect, engage, and persuade people, visit our website, www.precisionspeaking.com.